Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been a day.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully it chills out for you.
Oh, nothing bad, just a typical hustle and bustle.
That's fair.
How
I
was your
know it
day?
well. Day's been okay. Been working on a track that I'm slightly frustrated with, but I just have to push through.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do the interview. I've been kind of trying to think of somebody to interview for an article for a long time, and I just kind of thought about you because I've been a fan of your music for a while.
I appreciate the invite.
What would you like to go ahead and get started on the questions?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. What inspired you to become a musician?
I get this question quite a bit, and the simplest answer is that nothing in particular inspired me to be a musician. It was just always there. Like, there was never a question that I was going to do anything else or that I wanted to do anything else. I just probably came out of the womb singing. Uh, yeah, I just from day one always wanted to play instruments, to sing, to perform, do all the, jazz things, chorus things, anything I could get my hands on that was musical. So yeah, it was just always there, and I've followed that trajectory ever since.
What was the first time you picked up an instrument or started writing songs or anything?
Well, I don't remember this, but I guess my mom would take me every time we'd go to a toy store. I would like make a beeline for the xylophone or something with keys that I could play on. And by the time I was like 5 or 6 years old, I was composing little things here and there just on whatever I could get my hands on. And then started legitimately taking piano lessons when I was 8.
Okay. Where did it go from there?
From there, I took piano all the way through high school, and then college, I had to do piano study and theory, like hardcore for my music major. So, been playing keys basically my whole life. Also, I think when I was about 12, 11 or 12, whatever sixth grade would be, I joined a local choir, and that also carried me all the way through college. I sometimes miss my choral days because I actually got to go to some really cool places in the world and do some choral competitions and stuff. So I actually really still love singing and listening to classical music.
When did you start like composing and releasing your own music?
Well, composing came well before anything that I would put to the general public. I think around the same time as I started my chorus stuff, so about 12 years old, I would start writing little songs on an old Casio keyboard that we had and writing lyrics and, playing along, really funky little compositions. But at the time, I thought they were awesome. Um, as far
They
as
were the start.
releasing, yeah, they totally were. We all start somewhere with whatever we're doing. Um, as far as releasing music, it's a really good question. I hadn't thought about that. Um, Probably sometime in like 2011, 2012-ish, uh, by way of some of my first like short film scoring gigs. So they would be part of that. So not like necessarily songs on their own, but packaged with the short film score.
Okay. What are some of the short films that you've scored?
Oh man, and it's been so long. It's been what, 13 years? Let's see. There was a short called Andy about a boy who carried a doll. Um, there was, I don't know if I'd even consider it a short film. It was like the weird middle ground between short film and feature film. So it was like 45 minutes long. It was like a bank heist, but wrapped up with like an environmental message called The Green Bandits. What
Interesting.
else have I done? Yeah, that was kind of a fun project. Uh, I scored an award-winning short film called Remembrance, which was kind of a trippy thriller. Um, what other shorts have I done? I've done a couple features. I'm trying to remember some of the other shorts. Oh, Lightning Bugs in a Jar. That was also just sort of like a slice of life drama. And that one was cool. I got to record live instruments for that one. It was just a simple three-piece quartet. I want to say it was guitar, cello. What was the other instrument? Oh, and piano. Yeah. So that was cool. So I think those are from what I can remember, those are the short films that I've worked on. And that was a long time ago at this point.
I saw on on the IMDb page that you might have done some trailers.
Yeah, yeah, that was sort of the intermediary step between when I was really focused on film work and kind of in the process of transitioning more into video game soundtracks, which has been my main focus for the past like decade-ish. Yeah, so trailers are cool. Um, the ones that people might know are Annihilation with Natalie Portman, that sci-fi film that came out
Oh yeah, I've heard of
maybe a
that.
maybe like 8 years ago or so. I had a piece of really cool sound design in that trailer. And then also about 10 years ago, I want to say, or roughly around the same time, it was like 2016, 2018 or something. They did a remake of The Predator. So one of the trailers, promotional trailers for that, is all my gritty sound design and music. So those are
Oh,
kind of like the main ones. And then a whole bunch of just like incidental TV promos and things.
what are some of your major musical influences?
There's been so many. I kind of just absorb anything that I enjoy listening to, and I have since I was little. But if I had to kind of nail it down on the soundtrack side of things, definitely have always loved John Williams. His scores are just so quintessential and so beautiful. And I'm kind of sad that we don't get as many memorable movie themes anymore. But he's definitely one. On a similar note, Trevor Jones, also an incredible film composer. Love his stuff.
Oh, I
Um,
love his
and
stuff for the Dark Crystal, the best.
yeah, so good. It's really good. Labyrinth is like my favorite movie of all time, and the soundtrack, of course, it's just
Labyrinth,
phenomenal.
yes.
Yeah, for sure. I also really love Danny Elfman, both as a film composer and Oingo Boingo is just like amazing. Always love them. And then sort of on the musical artist side of things, I've always been a huge fan of Depeche Mode. Dark electronica like that, especially of that era, so 80s and 90s really kind of infused itself in me. Um, Beck is another one that a lot of people might not hear come through in my music, but Beck is awesome. I've always loved Beck. I also really like Infected Mushroom. They are so freaking good
Never heard of
or
them.
contemporary. No? Oh, if you like electronic music, I will send you a couple links because they will blow your mind.
Please. I would be interested.
Yeah, it's I guess technically called psytrance would be the genre for that. So psychedelic trance, but it's so much more interesting than a lot of trance music.
Hmm. I will have to check them out.
Yeah.
What have been some of your favorite projects or musical compositions so far?
Again, my catalog is 13 years deep at this point. But I would say the entirety of the River City Girls soundtrack is one of my favorite things just because of how much music I produced for that soundtrack and how much fun I had doing it and how well it was received. Like it was the full experience of like being really proud of something and then also having the world love it. So that was a super, super fun project. Massive 9 month 9 month project. And then as far as non-client related stuff, I released an album last year called Crimson Legacy, and that's still kind of my baby. Um, I really, really put a lot of thought and energy into every piece of music on that, and I don't know, I'm just really stoked on it.
Cool. I think one of the first songs that I heard of from you was Into the Night, which is something you did with Mitch Murder.
Yeah, that's an oldie at this point. I love Mitch Murder. He's great. It was really
I've
cool to work with him.
He's got some really interesting stuff that he puts out, like fake video game soundtracks, and
Yeah.
I love his kind of 80s-ish style.
Yes. Yeah, he's very, very 80s influenced for sure. But yeah, he was one of the one artists, or he was one of the artists, I want to say like in 2011, 2012, I discovered him. And I feel like that was before Synthwave became so popular. Now you say it to pretty much anyone, and they're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. But in 2012, there were just a handful of people doing it, and he was one of them.
I also like some of the stuff that you do with, or that you've done with Moonrunner.
Thank you. Yeah, that's again like a decade. No, not quite a decade old at this point. More like 7, 8 years. That's coming up on a decade, I guess. Um,
Where does the time
yeah,
go?
I don't even know. It's all spent in this room right here.
Um, what is it like composing music for video games versus like quote unquote normal music?
Yeah, great question. Um, I think it's kind of twofold. One part of it being that it is specifically tailored to a visual and to an experience. So that could be said for any piece of media that's going to have music, right? The music has to enhance, not detract. So, first and foremost, that's in my mind like, okay, the client has this spec, they have a brief that I have to follow. Usually they'll have examples of style and tone that they like from other pieces of music. So, that's one thing where I have to basically have a very narrow focus depending on what the client wants. And then the other part of it is that I typically have to work in loops. So I have to think about the start of a piece as also the end of a piece, which is kind of a trip to start thinking cyclically as opposed to just linear. So knowing that a player is going to spend an indefinite amount of time with that music to really kind of plan out how people are going to be hearing it and think about it from a perspective of like an infinite amount of time.
Is River City Girls, is that like a gender swap of another game that was out like back in the 80s or something? River City
Yeah,
Ransom, perhaps?
yeah, it yeah, totally is.
Oh, okay.
They call it a spiritual successor to River
Spiritual
City
successor.
Ransom. Yeah. Yeah. Basically the girlfriends of the two main characters in River City Ransom are now back to kick some ass because their boyfriends were kidnapped. Yeah, it's
That's
a fun
cool.
one. I'm not a huge fan of beat 'em ups in general, but producing music for one was a blast.
I'm gonna have to try that game. What have been some of your favorite musical collaborations?
I will say that when I was collaborating with Moonrunner, I had a really good time, not just in kind of working on the vocal parts and the lyrics and such for his productions, but the fact that it led to one of the best times I've ever had, which was flying up to Calgary in the dead of winter at minus 22 degrees Celsius and shooting a crazy epic cyberpunk short film. Uh, so that collaboration, just being homies with Moonrunner, led to that, and that was the coolest experience. And then
That
other,
was that Streets you're referring to?
yes, yes,
Okay.
streets, yeah. Such a cool thing to be a part of. I lost a lot of sleep, but I had a very good time. One of my other favorite collaborations is pretty much all of the stuff that I do with Alex. He is a very good friend of mine. He's a very talented producer, and I just love working with him because he's so chill. He always kind of knows, like, we're just really good at knowing what the other person is going to bring to the table and riffing off each other.
And you guys just mesh well.
Yes, we mesh very well.
Awesome. If you could collaborate with anybody you want, who would it be? Your dream.
Again, the list is like far too long to even consider having a tier. But I'll just have to pick a couple people. Um, I would absolutely love to work with Infected Mushroom simply because they're just one of my favorite groups. Um, I think that would be so much fun. Another, oh, I can't believe I didn't mention these for my influences, but Massive Attack would be an absolute dream collaboration for me.
I've
And
heard some of their music.
I'm greatly influenced by their work. It's so just dreamy and trippy and delicious. And I also think working with someone like Danny Elfman or Trent Reznor would be freaking amazing. So yeah,
Definitely.
those are my picks.
Nine Inch Nails is doing the score for the new Tron movie.
Yes, I actually am very excited to hear that. I think that, yeah, that partnership works really well. I think he actually released the single from, or a single from the soundtrack already.
Oh,
I'm
really?
blanking on what it's called. As Alive as You Want Me to Be. I think that's the name of the track.
Okay. I may have to check
Yeah,
that out.
yeah, it's really good. It's, classic Nine Inch Nails sound.
I love the Tron series and how they used Daft Punk for the last one.
Hmm. That was also a really good collaboration.
Any upcoming projects or information about yourself that you would like to share?
I am always cooking up something. I'm trying to think. Uh, I just started working on a very top secret game that I can't talk about yet, but hopefully I can mention at some point in the future. It's very exciting.
I'm sure you'll put
Um,
it on your social media when you can.
oh, yes, I will be blasting it and screaming it from the rooftops. Aside from that little secret thing, I'm still cranking away on Streets of Rogue 2, an indie game.
Hmm.
Um, that's going to be coming out, I think, this year. Well, let's see. We're in September now. Probably not this year. He keeps saying it's going to be this year, and then it just keeps, pushing forward. But sometime in the near future, that will be released, and I've gotten to do some really fun music for that. And then on the artist side of things, I am just continuing to produce dark and synthy stuff. I've got a couple, hopefully a couple, at least one track coming out next month that I am stoked to release. Another sort of, again, dark and dreamy and kind of creepy is my thing. So it'll be in that realm. And I'm kind of chipping away at an album too. So lots of stuff.
Nice. And
Yeah.
you distribute most of your stuff through Bandcamp?
Most of it, yes. Although with the recent cover songs, just released a cover album. I could not put it on Bandcamp simply because tracking mechanical royalties for all of the rights holders of the cover songs or the originals of the songs that I'm covering is just too much of an administrative task. Um, so when I upload music to a distributor, like to be placed on Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of thing, they automatically send the percentage needed to the rights holders. So for Bandcamp, it just didn't quite make sense. But in general, most of my stuff is on Bandcamp, yes.
Yeah, I can understand that that would be difficult or challenging.
Yes, very challenging. Bandcamp also doesn't have, on my page anyway, all of the collaborations I've done for many, many years because those are on all of the other producers' pages. So my catalog looks a little smaller there just because it's only stuff that I've put out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, in general, it's a great place.
I think I ran through all my questions already. It's amazing how quickly we can get through a few questions. Anything else you would like to add or talk about?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I am generally very reachable, so if anybody hearing or seeing this wants to reach out, please do. I'm kind of everywhere.
I always appreciate
Instagram.
that,
Yeah,
that you're
no
reachable. That was
problem.
another reason that I thought to reach out to you.
Very good. Yeah, I'm glad. It's getting harder, of course, as there's more influx of people, but in general, I try my very best to respond to everybody, to get back to every comment and every message and every, email on every different platform, all the social things. So yeah, anybody's welcome to reach out to me anytime.
What's your like normal day look like as far as like working?
Well, when I'm not doing a giant renovation, which has put a interesting monkey wrench into my production schedule, um, I work generally from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with a lunch break, just kind of keep a standard schedule because it would be too easy to not treat something fun like a job, but it's definitely a job. So I, have my breakfast, get dressed, whatever, come in here and figure out what I'm doing that day. I usually, yeah, just work on music, composing, recording, etc., 5 days a week. I try not to work on weekends. Every once in a while, something will slip through the cracks, and I'll be like, okay, I have to do this other thing, or like I have to take on this other project that I didn't see, hadn't come across my lap before on a weekend. But yeah, just kind of standard work hours. Normal day is producing music all day.
It sounds like it's pretty, you have some freedom as far as with your job schedule and
Yeah, yeah. If I wanted to work all night and then sleep all day, I could. But I find it easier to work kind of a normal schedule. That way, my husband and I can eat meals together, and I can work out at a reasonable hour and go to classes in the evening, stuff like that. So it works out.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And is it okay
sure
if
thing.
I share the video like on social media?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'll definitely make sure that you get a copy as well.
Sounds good. Happy to do it.
Well, great. And then as soon as the article is done, I'll send you a copy of that as well.
Very good. Uh, remind me again where that will be posted.
Cultureslate.com.
Okay, cool.
It's like an online pop culture magazine that we put out. I write a lot of stuff about, usually it's like entertainment, pop culture news. And then I also write, and everybody else sometimes writes long form articles, like and the interviews are part of it. Just kind of a variety of
Hmm.
stuff. I like to write a lot about Star Wars, so that's kind of my main thing. But
Oh, fun.
I also
Okay,
have been doing some
interesting. I mean, that's very
Transformers
culturally
stuff.
relevant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
right on.
Well, you have a lovely, well, rest of your afternoon, rest of your evening.
Thank you. You as well.
And feel free to reach out if you have any other questions or anything.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.